and I am happy to be here. What do I want to talk about tonight? Well, that's up to the spirits, because I am just a regular person that has learned how to tap into my higher self, tap into who I am, tap into my soul. I have been doing this for about 30 years, and one of the things that I realized was it was so important is to start noticing who you are not. We come into this world, and one of the amazing things is that our soul chose our mother, our father, our environment, where we're going to live. And I oftentimes say to my husband, wow, I thank your soul for choosing Adelaide, because I really love it. Now, we had some really doozy of the weather in the last few days, but I lived through it. One of the jokes is, because this is considered like some type of witchery thing, I said, oh yeah, well, I'm melting. I am not in the Wizard of Oz, but I am in the land of Oz. So I just thought that was funny. Yeah, I'm just a regular person that chose to not want to go insane. I had complete, utter insanity when it came to emotions, to trying to figure why people would act the way they do. And it gave me the sense that I just did not want to communicate with people. And I love them, but I just didn't know what to do with them. And then I had a lot of tragedies that happened throughout my life. And the biggest thing I kept asking is, how do you get over it? How do you get through it? You just can't. People shouldn't just be sent here to go crazy. So I turned to God. At a very young age, I didn't know what that meant. But then as time went on, I realized that to find God, you got to find yourself. And when you find yourself, you find God. It wasn't in bricks and mortars. It was this peacefulness that when you learn that you have an ego, what I teach my students is that ego is hold on, I just got an incoming message from something and I don't know what it is. But when they do that, they drop me. They usually want me to, I don't know. And we resume. Okay, so ego. One of the things that it's taught me is that ego is that part of yourself that disconnects from your higher self, and we over-identify with matter. Now, over-identifying with matter is the emotional aspect. It is holding on to it and holding that attachment. But going a little further in my studies, I realized that ego is this a lens that you look through. And your soul and your higher self looks through, and you are the observer. And you look around, and you can decide to interact with it by becoming more of this illusion called life. You interact with the frequencies, the energies, and everything that makes up what we are. We're light and information. We are energies and frequencies. We are that spirit with a soul, which is a recorder, that said to God, okay, I will go out and create like you asked. And this is what we're doing. We've created this. We've come here. We've created this particular, what do you want to call it, a hologram. Or in Star Trek, or in one of those, it's a holodeck. And it feels pretty real because we have sensory, we're a sensory being. But when we get over-identified, I mean really over-identified, it is when the thoughts go wild and the emotions go nuts. And what happens is that you end up going into high beta because we have different levels of the way our brain functions. And when you're in high beta, you are basically going into that survival mode of fight, flight, freeze. And when you do that, 80% of the blood leaves your forebrain and goes to your limbs. Now, why does that matter? Because your frontal lobe is what creates reality. And if that part of your reality is not, if you feel like nothing's working for you, understand that you're not really connected to that higher self, to that soul, to that heart part of who you are. And you're feeling around, but you're also learning. Now, when you over-identify with matter, ego stands for the electromagnetic guiding omni-apparition. We are electromagnetic beings. Everything is electromagnetic. And we're learning how to read the, what do you want to call it? The information and the light. So I want to welcome everybody for joining me. Remember to share. Remember to tell people out there. And I want to take you on a journey of not being so wrapped up and over-identifying with matter. And it's okay to love, and it's okay to live and express. But when you start off as that child, your environment, the people, the culture, the traditions, they are all the ones that you chose. And that's a paradigm that you chose to be in the time of the planet. And everything is so beautifully orchestrated that when you start to live, so I never really left the house and did much. I got married and all that, but it wasn't until I came to Australia that you're able to experience different cultures, different thinking, different beliefs, different everything. But they all thought, and they all had coping tools, and they all had stress, and they all had emotions. And I started to look around and I said, okay, you showed me a long time ago coping tools, and I don't want to do that. I want to do more. And when I was in the States, I learned about resolution. And it's so important to resolve, to evolve, and heal instead of deal. And those words have stuck with me forever. And that's what I've done. You just don't have to cope, manage, deal, and pacify through life. You literally get to find out what you like and don't like. You can find out who you are and who you're not. And when you start to use tools to say, I don't really want to be this pattern. I don't really know if I want that habit. And then I don't look at things as failures or flaws, because they're not. They are your choice to just say, I want to understand this perspective on this particular thing. So you're coming here to master, or maybe defining your dissertation. You're learning what it is all about. So I want to thank a lot of you for taking in. I had made a meme, and you started to repost it again after the last show. And so thank you. That was very helpful. And so I was so moved by that, because when you are on a path switch, and you can have false starts, meaning you can do all the things that you're asked and all the things that you know that you need to be in alignment with. But then when you're ready to think, okay, I'm ready to get back out in that world, and it falls flat. And you're like, wait, what? I thought that was a sign. I thought I read it right. And then you do it again. And you keep doing this over and over until you just kind of get discouraged. And again, that's part of being human, trying to find a place to put my foot. It's not working. Give me a second. Okay. So what do we need to do? We really need to begin to learn to understand that we are these spiritual beings having a human experience. So I went out and decided, okay, I want to reach more people. And again, I came from the United States, in Michigan area. I am going to do another show on Monday and Thursdays at 1 p.m. in Australia time. So that would make about 9:30 at night in Eastern Standard Time in Michigan. So you can join me then as well. So, or you can watch repeats and however you want to do it. But I was talking to Lenny, so we want to all say hello, Lenny, for she is here as this wonderful volunteer that has believed in me and believed in herself. Now, that's so important because when you begin to want to grow, you want to connect with that part of yourself. And so I'm just proud of her for doing what she needs to do and growing and getting to where she has to be. And for her to stand up as the soul and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to help you. And it's like, okay, because you don't know where the help's going to come from. And I said, okay, let's do this. Let's do things. And my husband has been so wonderful at helping me be me more by feeling loved. So what happened last beginning of the week, the camera kept going in and out. And then we decided, I saw all these kids. There were about 25 souls. I'm not asking you to come back, and nobody stand in front of the camera. The camera kept going in and out, in and out. And after the show, I finally said, okay, why are you here? And they said, well, you asked the question. I said, which one was that? In my Empowerment Through Enlightenment class, I would always center, raise the vibration, and then I would allow all of the souls that were in the class to tell me what it is that they unified decision, not verbally, their souls, of what it is they wanted to talk about. And I think that the last video was about mothers and children, and should I or shouldn't I, or can I not? And as I started to really ask, I mean, that's what the kids were here for. Some wanted parents, some said they were my parent, and yeah, they just, the message is about that love, and that, you know, we came together. Now there's a lot of questions and a lot of pain when it comes to losing children. My mother lost a child, and I was 7, and my brother, I think, was 18 or something like that. And it just devastated my mother, and I felt like I've lost my mother. I was, you know, she was just a shell. Took a couple of years to regroup and regather, and the problem is that she had a baby, a 2-year-old besides me, which is 7, and then the rest of us. So I know as a child how it feels when the mother has a very emotional thing. You know, you just, it hits the children. It's like, where'd they go? And children, especially the younger ones, will want to save their parents. Like, where's my mommy? Where's my daddy? And then they will try to save their parent. And it's amazing to see in a child's mind that they just want that particular connection that they had again. And the hardest part about being a mother is you don't want to damage your children. You know, but if you look, every adult once were children. Every adult is somehow screwed up in some form, and you wonder what kind of childhood they had. But then every mother is most mothers have done their best to be the best that they can, and they don't want to screw up their child, but yet there just seems to be a little bit of pattern. Well, regardless. So I always felt like my mother, I didn't have my mother. I felt abandoned to some degree, not having that mother nurturance, even though my mother was a very loving mother. And she would do things and love me and was there for me. But yet, it wasn't until I got older that I realized, oh, it took only one instant to create that thing that our souls both raised our hands. I said, I need to feel abandoned. My mother said, okay, I'll do it. You know, not consciously, not willingly, but on a soul contract wise, yes. So it can be very hard to understand and comprehend of what really is going on. But we're both there to teach each other lessons, to help us unlearn what we need to, take us to the next level, because we're all these little beginners. And once we start to get confused and to question, then that's like as soon as you're about ready to graduate to the next level, and you start questioning, and because you think you know it all. or you don't know it all, but yet you don't care that you don't know it all. But then all of a sudden you get curious. And then eventually you start to graduate, and you get to that, how do you want, I forgot how it goes, incompetent, wow, that's just escaped me. They did it again to me. But it's unconscious incompetence to conscious competence. And then you do that back and forth until you become this master. And it doesn't mean you're grand. It just means you've leveled up. And it feels good, because then you look back and there's a part of you that doesn't want to go back to kindergarten. Why do you need to? Why do you want to? We need to do that with our emotional aspects. And we can get caught up in the world, and we do our best to cope, manage, pacify, and deal with it. But that's not what we're asking anymore. They are asking for you to wake up, feel, and love. And in order to do that, you need to resolve to evolve. You need to learn how to heal instead of deal. And I've run across many wonderful different healers that have basically, you are energy. And once you begin to understand how the body functions with the meridians and what's the body saying, there's some really great books out there about what does the body say. Now, Messages from the Body, I think from Michael J. Lincoln, is the best ones that I found. And I love them. And if you've ever done dream interpretations, you know that, you have a dream, the thing sticks out, you look it up, and you're like, oh, that's what it means. But none of us really had a question, oh, my ear's ringing. What is that? We don't really, maybe we ask, what's that mean? But usually we go to the doctor and say, could you tell me, am I dying? But, if there's messages all over. Like, I'm going to say it wrong. Tinnitus, it's that ringing of the ear. In one aspect, it's drowning it out. There are messages from the higher self and the other side. You just don't want to hear it, as well as from your outer environment. This is in your outer environment. But they are in the case of completely closed mind. And don't take offense to that, but if you have arrested development, you wouldn't know to open that mind. You don't know what you need to know in order to know it. You have never really been able to, oh, wait a minute, I can just look over the brick wall. And it's learning those steps. And even though you can bash your head against the wall and say, oh my God, I've done everything I can to figure this out. Well, Einstein would say that he would think, 99% of the time, but then when he was quiet and he just went with the flow, that's when the answers would come. And that's, that's that quiet part of yourself, shutting down the ego. And sometimes you'll see people like me, meaning psychics and stuff, readers, mediums, we will entertain our hands so that our ego's over here going, oh, and then you learn to step back and listen with your higher self. And you're able to do two things at once. Instead of just micromanaging, you're able to really become the observer of what's going on in your environment. Going further of what that ear ringing, they say that they don't want to hear it no, I don't want to hear any of it. And they are refusing to listen. I know I had shut that down when my boyfriend died. And it was like, I didn't want to hear anymore. And literally it was quiet. But wow, did it feel disconnected? Did I feel I couldn't cope, I couldn't manage, I didn't know what to do in life, I had no direction. Oh my gosh. And eventually you start to wake up. But a little bit more, they are not hearing their inner voice, and they are being intensely rejected and stubborn. They were so mistreated by the environment from the very beginning that they have no trust in the universe, in the world, or in others. They listen only to their own long-established beliefs. That's huge. Our beliefs speak. Now, it doesn't mean you have to have a bad childhood. It could be all of a sudden you're playing along and your mother raises her voice and scares the crap right out of you. And you don't know how to handle that. And it can be so innocent as that. we don't really know on the soul level what is it we want to choose that will cause us to do those particular things. But it's up to us to discover what it means. Go a little further. It says, it all started in a severely oppressed and hostile home. But again, it doesn't have to be. Now, oppressed, like one of the things I did is my mother was a very loving, giving person, but I'd watch my sister drive my mother nuts. I stood back and said, I ain't going to do that to my mother. So I cut out all of these little things that, I'll behave. I won't ask for things. I won't ask for help. So it wasn't about being in a hostile home. I pressed myself. So anyways, in the left ear, tinnitus is go away. They are stubbornly ignoring their inner knowing and their inner voice. The right is shut up. They're refusing to listen to the information from the environment. And it's important to pay attention to the clues. Okay, so hopefully you're all still with me. And it's good to see all of you here. So like I said, during the week, I've seen people post the meme and to share it with everybody. And I have given the names to Lenny, and Lenny has put them in a box. One of the things that I'm supposed to figure out is that I could do this, and they say if you see a green dot, now what I don't understand, oh, no, see, it didn't do it. It says in Facebook Live, you should be able to click on, I had Lenny, no, she's a cutie pie anyway, but get all camera ready. But for some reason, it's supposed to be click on this and, now, I don't know why that doesn't show up right. Because I typed in putting Facebook Live, because what I wanted was you to see that she made this beautiful, hope chest, and it's for the drawing of the names, and so that we can start drawing them live to show you. Now, I'm going to say when you go to my website, don't put the www because it's a free site, and so when you type that in, it'll just say it's not there. So just put bpowermw.weebly.com, and you should be able to get right in and see it. Oh no, the video's cutting out. Okay, so let me see. Anybody else experiencing the video cutting out thing? Well, we'll see. So I'll just have to keep researching and how to figure out how to, because video share, it just screws up the whole screen, and I think it's because I have an older model that it refuses to let me to bring another person on. I was hoping it would really work because I wanted to be able to do a reading. I mean, I can do readings, but wow, can I do readings when I hear the person, when we're interacting, because it changes the vibration, and then it becomes more of a one-on-one, and I get to hear all of those little gems you say when I'm about ready to give you a reading, or I asked you a particular question, because then it helps redirect it to find that particular memory, so I can jog you and go, oh, there it is. Like I had a wonderful client the other night, and I says, do you remember a time? And I gave them an age, and they said, oh, yeah. And you could see the memory, see their memory. They were looking right at it. And I said, oh, that's perfect. Now that you're staring at it, let's heal that out. It is really that fine tuning. And Blog Talk Radio is great. Okay, I'm hoping, Tabitha, that, because I think it's all right. It's not fading in and out, and other people, so I don't know if, it's just your phone, or I'm not sure where you're at, but anyway. So, hey, somebody from Canada. Awesome. Again, if you want your name put into the drawing box, the hope chest, then just share and then tell us you shared, and then we'll look and see and put your name in the box. Because at the end of the show, we'll draw 3 names or so. So what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to start gathering the energy of the people in the room. Well, the first word that comes up is clairvoyant. But I usually, when it's the gathering of the energies, is what is the topic, and okay. So Lenny said the video is cutting out too. All right. So it looks like I'm still on the internet. Well, it looks like it's all good from here. That's the weird part. And I have no ability to look at my camera or the volume because of, I don't know. They won't let it. I'd have to end the video in order to go play around. And I tried figuring that out for the last 2 hours, and I gave up and just said, we're just going to go back to letting it be on auto. Now, the video cutting out, is it the picture or is it the sound? That'll help me a little bit more too. But, you know, all that is important. Okay, so Tabitha's probably right. I have a lot of spirits around. Okay, every spirit that's in this room, we want to honor the living, and these are the non-fleshies. And we're going to ask that you stand behind me or on the side, because I still can see you in my mind, and plus I have a mirror in front, so I can see what I need to say. Like you can, never mind. But anyway, I can't see that you're messing with the camera, but they do. And I appreciate you guys honoring me, but you know, just stand back a little further. We want everybody here. Oh, everybody here. All right, new comments. It pauses. No. Alrighty. Okay, so. No, I'm just kidding. All right, not a good actress. Don't worry about it. Okay. And it might have done that when I... Okay, so I'm going to shut this piece down and shut... Whoops. If it cuts out now, it's because of the stupid... Hold on here. Tap on the viewer with the green circle. See, it doesn't give me any green circle. So now if it pauses, it might be because I've got other things running. So I'm hoping nothing else is running now to screw it up. Yeah, I'm sure it is the spirits. Because part of me is asking them, how do you do this? Because see, I can see Lenny's name, and it's supposed to have a, you know, whoever it is I'm supposed to see, there's supposed to be like a green thing next to the name, but that's not true. It must be an old format. I just wish I could make this bigger. Okay. All right, now they're all chattering. Well, if they do want to talk, they know how to do it. So sometimes it gets too noisy. You don't have to shut it off. You know what a cattle chute is, right? You put this little like walls up, and then one cattle at a time comes down. So I'm not trying to say they're cattle, but voice streaming. So sometimes if there's a group, I ask for an elective so that they're not all talking at once. Yeah. Okay, so one of the things they just told me that's important for y'all to know, and y'all know, act professional. Okay, is this 9/11, Everybody remember what happened in the United States in 9/11? Did you feel emotions? Not just your own, but did you feel like the world's emotions? Did you feel my experience? Well, if I wasn't psychic, I really believed that. There was this buildup, and my skin, everything just kind of like felt like it was shaking, and I thought, oh my God, what's wrong with me? And that was the day before, and then that night it was like, oh, I'm just so antsy, I can't sleep. And then that morning, I'm getting my daughter, I sent my son off to school, everything was fine, and then I'm getting ready to I'm supposed to go with my daughter that day to preschool and ride the little tiny bus, and go to preschool. And it was my day as the host, mommy to be there. So I started this anxiety, and I thought, what's going on? And then I could hear all these thoughts that were like, oh, I got to get on the bus and blah, 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 blah. I got to be around people. And I thought, what? I don't normally act this way. And it's so important when you start to know what is you and who is them. The vibration was just like hitting my heart and everything. And I tried to not let my daughter see it, but I'm sure she felt it because she's complete intuitive too. So I'm sure she felt it. And although all the things that we've done, all the healings we've done, yeah, she did feel it. But she also felt it for me. So as a mother, you do your best to stay strong. So everything was crazy. And as we're getting to walk out to the bus, I just feel like I'm going to pass out. Things were going to happen. And I remember my daughter got on first, and then I must have paused because the bus driver says, okay, come on, Mama, let's go. I went to put my foot on the step, and it had disappeared. And I felt like I was about ready to step through a cloud. And I just started getting more and more weird. And then I finally grabbed a hold of the railing, got on, sat down, and everything just started getting worse and worse. That first step was actually the first airplane that hit, and it was, whoa. So then I go ahead and get on the bus and start to go a little bit. We get there, and then it feels like I'm getting worse again. And I'm like, what the heck? And I says, where's the bathroom? And they said, oh, you don't have to use the little kids' room because, those toilets are like where your ankles are. And I'm thinking, thank God, because I was like, that's too far down. So I had gone to that school as a little girl myself. So as I'm going around the corner, I see all the teachers hanging out by the office in front of the big TV that's sitting outside. And so I started walking over, and I completely went deaf. And then I'm looking at everybody trying to talk to me. And I look at the screen and, wait, what? And it's the I can't believe it thing. And you can't, when you don't understand something, you don't comprehend it, you're not ready for it. And then everything started hitting me. And so then I ran to the bathroom, and I had to hang on the bathroom walls, and I just about fell apart in the bathroom. But now I understood what happened. So I had to get my power back. I had to pull everything off me. Now, the long story short is that emotions can affect you. It's called, in my line of work, and another healer could call it something different. I call it a psychic attack. And it has nothing to do with somebody going, oh, I deliberately send attack at you. No. This is emotions. Everybody that pushes them out there, or, I know, and you and just back off. Just sit over there for a minute. I'm resuming, connecting. So seriously, psychic attack is when you feel one or more emotions, and one or more emotions can be many. I had 5 on me, and I had to remove them. And if you don't remove them, you can get to the state where you can get to the state where you're, how do you want to put it? You physically can get sick. So two people that I love physically started getting sick, and after so many years, doctors are going to tell you they don't know what they're going to, I don't know. They'll try to treat you anyway because that's their job. So to remove a psychic attack, it's very simple, but most people don't know they're there. And we don't need to blame anybody, because it happened to me when, that's why when I don't really like to go out, because I can pick up certain things. Okay. So what we're going to do is that we're trying to find a format about how to do this show. Now, I would like, to have paid expedite, but that may not happen. I don't know. If it's supposed to, it's supposed to. But I think that I would normally push Lenny's little icon there and get her on and have her do a drawing, which would have been so exciting. And I would do my first drawing. But now I got to find Lenny's little fate. There she is. Anytime I click it, though, it just opens another window and causes a pause on my screen. So that doesn't help you guys out. Well, okay, Lenny, reach in that box, shake it up, reach in that box and pull out a wonderful name. That would be great. Really wish that would work. Oh, wait. Did I just make something happen? Doesn't stay, though. Oh, nuts. Oh, no, that's not it. I thought maybe I could get there, but no. I'm trying, folks. What's this set? Can I do that? No, I think that would screw it up if I did that. And same for that. Darn. Okay. I think I got an old piece of Facebook news. Not fake news, just old news. I will keep searching. All right. So as Lenny is probably going through and checking to make sure everybody that has shared that your name is in there, and so we'll just go from that. I just want to remind you that if you want a paid reading on here, then it's called Expedite, and then you can have that. There's dream interpretations, and usually I like to have you email me first so that I can get prepared. Okay, now hopefully if a Sharon Gordon is here, then please let us know. The first person's name drawn is Sharon Gordon, and if she's here, let us know. Now, in the meantime, do you have a question about spirituality? Do you understand that you don't have to be at this stage of the game to make a difference in your life? You can do it because everybody started somewhere, and I started. And then slowly but surely, I started learning all of these steps that I needed. And basically, it is about finding, I would tell you to start looking for your emotions. Listen to your belief systems. How do you do that? When somebody says, hey, do you believe in ghosts? And you're like, no. Oh, good. You don't believe in that. Or, yes, I do. Oh, good. On the scale from 0 to 10, 10. Yes, you do. So you can learn to eventually notice, what your belief systems are. Start paying attention to you and how you think. Sharon Gordon, we're going to give you one more shout out. If you are not here, then we'll move on to the next name. Yeah, we can do that. So what spiritually have you guys done besides waking up, having coffee, or meditating, any of that stuff? What else have you done? How did you start looking at life differently? Because when you start to have that urge that there's more to life, then you begin to question. And you don't sit there and go, oh, is that the right thing to do, the wrong thing to do? It is, you move forward and you don't really give a rat's ass what other people think, because now you've asked the question and now you want to look for the answer. That is a very good sign for you. All right, Miss Lenny, I would say go ahead and draw another name. Okay, so I agree with Tabitha. I just don't believe she's here. And if she does get on or comes back or whatever, we'll honor it. So I hear some dogs yapping. Don't know if that's in your house or if it's back there. Allison Jen. I know some Allisons. I know quite a few Jens. But if you're here, Allison Jen, then yes, say, I'm here. And I'll do my best to see your name. I know that you were here once because I did see that name. But if you have any questions, again, I really wish this Facebook Live was more interactive as far as on a, like Blog Talk Radio was. Oh, I love doing that. I think I might do it again. Same for YouTube. But it's just so much easier to talk to in person, because you really get to hone in on all those little things, especially ages. So again, Allison Jen, you want your free reading? I suggest you tune in and say, I'm here. Come on. You can do it. Well, if they're going to talk to me, they got to come a little bit clearer than just a fuzzy TV screen. It doesn't help. It does not help. Well, one more time, I'm going to ask if there's, there we go. No, wait. Actually, is Jen Allison. Hey, okay, well, there you are on the screen. We'll take you. Okay. My dear, I love to communicate. I just don't know if I can see the screen. So if you do have a question, understand it's not about reading the future. I'm not I see too many variables, because that's all of the choices that I know you can make, you're going to make, and you repeat making, that interfere with actually making what you want to happen. So let me just click this. So if you have, like I said, if you have any questions, otherwise I can jump in and do a cold read. So I'm just going to ask if there's anybody on the other side that wants to chat, or if you want to ask particular questions. See, how do I get my information? There is this bandwidth, and there's a grid of all this information, light and frequencies and sounds and color. And then as your soul signals into your body, it just comes over and says, here's some information. But then your loved ones that have interacted with you in this particular plane of field of existence will sit there and see, that's so vague for me. Oh, what's my outcome in March? Because that's not the type of psychic I am. Because but I will grab you a card and we'll just have, so I guess you hold the question, and I guess that's your card, because my family would always do this, and they would just say, oh, I'm not telling you anything, and then I'll have to draw a card because it's not okay. So the card that jumped out before I could even do anything, and my deck is called Energy Oracle card by Sandra Ann Taylor. And the card I got was in reverse, called The Man Holding a Coin, number 43, but it's in reverse. So the one thing about Sandra Ann Taylor, this deck is really good, is they have a upright and reversed. So if we go She says she's got a lot of family on their side. So right now, they're not stirring except for somebody's pointing to pay attention to the card. So maybe they drew it. It says you may be feeling stuck where your personal intentions are concerned. Self-mastery and discipline may be hard to achieve right now, or specific plans for personal change may be blocked. Remember that your intentions need to be clear and unconflicted. Whatever you're working on, you need to know that you are capable of achieving it and that you deserve it. Put your heart into the plans and changes you desire, and realize that you are worth your own time and effort. The new beginning you seek will come with your own focus on a patient determination. So, if you are wavering in emotion, so whatever the outcome is, you're saying this is something that's going to happen, and it is, will it be in my favor or not? That card is saying, what emotions stop you from believing it to be true, that it could work into your favor? And that is where my specialty comes in. So, now, there's a fear of losing someone or something. And the emotion of helplessness is the one thing that started all this. Her pride or his pride? Their pride. Her pride. So they got to you by hurting your pride. That's interesting. So, one, your personal power is not there, because I see a color red, which is your root chakra, and so I see that your strength of being able to survive this is like all over the place. We would need to call that energy back, because it's part of what makes the thoughts go wild of, oh my God, it's going to be a bad outcome. I don't know if you're the type of person that, whoops, started again. I don't know if you're the type of person that must think negative in order to get a positive outcome. I'm not sure if you're that type. And if you are, understand that that's how you had to cope, handle, and deal with so many things that said, oh, I'm going to get your hopes up. Nope, not going to give it to you. And there's a difference between hope. Hope is that light at the end of the tunnel when everything's freaking dark. And you start aiming for it. It's not, well, I'm hoping. When you put the ing there, you don't really believe it. But when you're looking at the light, you then figure out all of these things. Nothing seems to get in your way, because you know you're going to get to that light. In this case, somebody has the energy of the upper hand. And if that's the case, we need to take that energy away. So then my question then for your soul is, why did this whole thing, why did her soul project this scenario? And it's because throughout life, since how many months? Since about 7.5 months old, life has been unfair. Your child part of you said, it's unfair. So you're like, well, I don't remember when I was 7.5 months old. That's fine. Look back from the time you are now. Has everything in your life, can you describe it as unfair? If you have a belief that, or you find that that's your word, that it's unfair, then we need to take all of the energy that you have into believing it off, because that energy to create an outcome you want with passion and to know that you can get to that light at the end of the tunnel, you know you can get there, it is used to keep creating proof that you're right, that life is unfair. And at this point, I know you don't want that scenario to come true. You don't want to I have proof that life's unfair. You already know that. Well, now we need to take the energy off that. Does this make sense to you? Okay, so we'll wait for a response. So what does this mean? Did you give her answer? The answer is that it looks like it could go in your favor, but because you have this emotion that life's unfair and that energy is into that, you're going to be nothing but chaos, so that you can have, that's your strategy. And whether you get the result you want, that will depend more on doing your old pattern. You look back. What kind of outcome did you get before? And I feel in a way, it will be in your favor, but why should you go through such a roller coaster? Now, what we can do for you is you can heal this. You can pay for an expedite, or you can look on the website and then set up an appointment with me. Well, we only have like a minute to go, but what we're going to do is I would tell you that you can try to heal it yourself. It's going to be hard because you're out of the 41 thoughts per minute. You've got all of them focused on the energy that of it's just so rude. Get the blood back into your head. Use the oh my God points. The oh my God points, 80% of the blood leaves your forebrain, so you can't create your future. But if you bring the blood back up, you'll start to think better. And in that oh my God points is just laying your hand on your head. Doing it this way, you can touch another emotional point there. You touch your hairline, it'll help process out the chemical peptides of all of the emotions that drive you nuts. To get the free healing tool, you go to bpowermw.weebly.com, and you can see where there's a link to find it on YouTube, and it's OMG. And there's other healing tools. Use EFT. Even though I believe, and now the time's up, even though I believe that life's unfair, okay, and you keep tapping and doing that sequence until you don't believe it anymore. The way that I would do it I would just have to do hope therapy, and then I would just really help you bring the energy down to where all of a sudden those 41 thoughts become zero. You don't have to believe in that. I would gather your energy back up into your body so that you didn't have it hanging around. Okay? So the answer looks like it will be, but you have to go through so much hell and mess and the chaotic thinking. It's not very good. So just let you know, you can learn how to cope, handle, and deal by resolving a lot of issues so that it can be more into your favor. So you can learn how to change reality into your favor by removing all of those emotional blocks that stop you from being you. All right, so now we will, all right, people, me have to figure out, there, I figured it out. All right, so you're welcome, and I pray that your outcome is in your favor. Heal. Don't just sit back and take it. You got tools. You got me. You can, like I said, set up an appointment. You don't have to do this alone. Okay. Now, let's take a breath for a minute. And what I've said to her, if you have any questions or you're unclear, then ask away. We don't know unless you need me to define something. We got to grow. You may not even catch any of the gems that I said. One of the things I want to teach is empowerment through enlightenment, so that we can all start learning a different way to be. You're welcome. Okay. So I was telling Lenny that I think it'd be really great if I could do this. I could come into your home via live feed and interact, like Skype, interact with all of the students, and then, so you would pay, and for the class. I'd come into whoever's home is hosting, and then we would do it from there. So now we have the next person. As we're waiting, I'll continue to talk about Rihanna Atkinson. Okay, you get 7 minutes. So when you're on, I will commence the reading. So I think that would be great. Usually a class, depending on the size, would be about 2 hours, because you would have to have the talk to you can understand how to look at different perceptions to life. Then we would have to listen to your issues, and then I would give you little tiny mini readings, but it's your responsibility to come to me, make the healing, or you try to heal it on your own. And you're going to find out later that you just wish that you should have just came to me if you want things faster. So, she's here. Now, all right, darling, do you have anything specific that you'd like to ask, or whatever you'd like? So we'll go from there. I just heard my birdies. He flew in the hallway. I don't know if that's going to bother you guys, because if it doesn't, I'll just let him walk around, or I can go get him and put him on the... Hopefully he I've got a little ladder, but I think he's by my door. So while we're waiting, hold on. Wow, Rihanna, if you just want me to do a cold reading, say so. Excuse my butt. Just a second. Mama's right here. Where are you? Where'd you go? Oh, you're fine. You're right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not sure where my baby went. Oh, I'm sure he's fine. Now I'm going to be a mama. Worry. But I don't want to have to go into that room and have to turn the light on and make you all wait. Okay. That's an interesting question. So Rihanna says, can you predict any gems I should purchase tomorrow? Again, I don't do future reading. When we go shopping, anything to do with smoke, I mentioned to you. No, my brain all of a sudden is like trying to recall certain things, because it's when I'm connected in a different space, it's a different frequency. I will tell you, I keep hearing selenite. I hope you got some. But you got to be careful with selenite, because that's really an intention stone. And if you're having that in your hand or in your grids or wherever you have it, and you haven't mined your thinking, you then could, how do you want to put it? If you're not minding your thinking, you can do a dual conflict. Yes, my intention is this. Oh my God. And you start thinking negative, and you've just switched the intention on the stone, because even though you may have placed an intention, if you do the emotions, if the thought and the frequency changes with that new way of thinking, you can override your intention. That's why a lot of people, when I teach them how to use a pendulum, you've really got to take care of your emotions, because you'll be going along and going, which way's my yes? Which way's my no? And then you go, does he like me? No. Your brain went into high beta. It changes the electromagnetic currents into your pendulum, and then your cloudy thinking and all the other, and then all of a sudden you're going to get your worst fears. Okay, so okay, so selenite. They were telling me all about kyanite. That's the definition of kyanite. I need you to have selenite, because if selenite is in that space, then you can actually really do a lot to ward off unwanted spirits. You can't see my specially made one, dream catchers. So the thing that just ran through my head was, I don't know if you have a connection on the other side to have to do with, in my country, I would say, okay, the American Indians, Aboriginals, the natives, what do you call it? The indigenous energy, because we're going back in time before there was cars and stuff like that. There was horses, and there was frontier lands, and the Flinders Rangers, and all of that particular timing. Because I really feel like it's more of a guide, that I don't know what you've been doing, if you've been asking for help, meditating or whatnot, because if so, then I really feel like this is a guide. What? I mean, he doesn't speak. It's a he. He doesn't, and it looks like a peace pipe. He doesn't speak English. But you can have that selenite to actually help you clear any energy, so you can communicate if necessary. Because you can't. You got to talk in a different language. No. So do you know your heritage? Are you Italian? Are you any of these? You know what I mean? That. Shown me first, so you're going back that particular time. Cornucopia. There's a great abundance of energy. Cornucopia. What do you want her to know about that? You can manifest. You do have manifesting abilities. You have a lot of it. Sometimes it's not in your favor, because manifesting in abundance can be very simply as this. You can have abundance, and first thing that people think about is money, love, this, that, things. But you can also have an abundance of negativity, abundance of hard-learned lessons. Everything is an abundance. You just have to redirect what kind of abundance you're referring to. And it's about receiving in a healthy way. Well, what's interesting is Lenny listens with headphones. And one of the videos that we had, she heard some male's voice come through and say, hi. She just said, a male's voice just spoke. And could you understand what they said? See, I know they're speaking in a different, and I'm asking to, for them to speak to me differently. So that means that he's tuning out. You should see me and Lenny get together. Sometimes we can really get that vibe up into. So what else do you want her to know? Stop doing what? You want her to stop. Hold on. Lenny said that it sounded like just a moan. What do you want her to stop doing? It's the way that you interact with the environment. And what do you mean by that? Please persist. I'll do it again. Sometimes, really? Sometimes you can be too cocky. Sometimes you can be too confident to be too cocky. That's from them. That's from them. I don't really know you enough to say that, but so when it comes to receiving something, maybe it's the way that maybe you have an expectation of certain things, and that can interfere with communication. Oh, that's good. Communication with other people. So maybe you might be misunderstood. Yes. Okay, hopefully that helps you out. So the smoke was what I understood was from this guide right here. So keep an open mind. When you go tomorrow, notice certain gems that remind you of some type of from the frontier days or indigenous first people, type of thing. Okay, let me see. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Just did it wrong. Let's try it again. Oh, there's a male in the house we named George. Different. Are you in her house? Could be. Are you the one that she's named George? No, that's another dude. So apparently you have a couple. If he does say very few words, because he, in my language, he's going through my file system. He says, "Yeah, we smoke on peace pipe." So I'm not trying to insult anybody. Yes, have a session. That'd be great. Just go on the website, figure out which one, and then we can talk about it and set up one. Oh. So that was the dude that came in earlier. He reminds me of a big burly guy, but then again, he's got fur on, so I can't really tell you. And I'm talking about, let's take the skin off the deer and buffalo. Okay, skin off the buffalo and, tan it, wear it, keep warm. Maybe it comes from a cold place. Let's think about that one. Okay, red ruby stone is what I see. Yeah, a red ruby stone. Nice red one. Get one. So Lenny said, trying to tell her something. Could be the house too, or the land. See, he's trying to communicate with her too. It's not quite, yeah. He's now just sitting over there like, not mad or anything. He's just in his stance. He's got larger than life energy though. All right. Ooh, what kind of skin do you have in your lounge room? Now I'm curious. Curious George. Interesting. So, if any of you are interested in learning more of how to move forward in your life, and if you have this urge to know that there's more to life than what there is, then I'm the gal that will help you in many ways to be able to take that leap. But we'll be in sync. That's up to you. You wouldn't be here if you weren't. So I think my little birdie made it back up to his little treetop because he stopped hollering. It was so hot the other day. I took my birdies into the shower, put a stool in there. Oh, a full cowhide. He says he likes it. Brings back memories for him. He's a comedian to some degree too. But though I took a stool, put all my birdies on it, and they're all chirping away, and I put the water on, and they're like, oh yeah. And they're like, nah, da, 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 and they're just drinking up the water and soaking it in, and they're just the cutest little things. Okay, so what's interesting is the screen does not allow me to really see. So every time I try to read people's comments, then it disappears. Now, let me try it again. Something caught my eye. Linda wrote something. In 2012, my life came crashing down, and one morning when I woke up, I sat in the kitchen, and on the floor I saw a white cross, and there I knew everything would be okay. Oh, that's beautiful. And sorry, my one contact doesn't work, and my other one does. And that was the day I started believing in spirituality. I knew there was something greater that would help me heal and put my life back together. Amen. Because it's true. And sometimes what she just described was a bitch slap. If anything, it's a flying bitch slap. And that is when we go around in life and we're so over-identifying with matter, with our ego, that it takes you to that next step of forcing you to, you're like, oh, life is good, this is that, and then all of a sudden, bam, and you're like, it hits you, and out of nowhere, it makes you just fall to your knees and crumble, and makes you look inside. And that's where you needed to be. If you do, and I teach people whispering opportunities. I used to have, so in the future, if you guys want a gathering, I can either come, well, depends where you're at. I can come through via Skype and be in your living room and do whispering opportunities. And that is kind of do the reading I have now, talking to the other side, helping you through what you can. And then we have a read throughout the whole group, even do a couple healing tools if necessary, or that would be good. And that would be the Whispering Opportunity Group, which is different than empowerment through enlightenment. But good job, Linda. When you wake up, otherwise you just keep getting the same bitch slap over and over, and that's no good. But you can never go back to the old way. Now, let's look for a Simone Libra. Simone Libra, I think that's what it is. Okay. Oh, yeah, I used to do girls' night. People would have, I don't say more than 10, but I did do 20 once, but it took forever. But break them up, and there's different things that can be done. I can even do what was the other one I called? That escapes me, but what it is I would hold a class, and then I would go to whoever paid, in the group, and I would teach them how to do hands-on healing skills that they could do without having to have any Reiki or any attunements or you wouldn't need a lot of knowledge, just understanding how to use the energy of your hands. And that's something else too. Okay, we're looking for a Simone. Our Simone. Oh, come on. A Simone Libra. Come on. Okay, so we'll give it another minute or so. Timer set. You get 10 minutes because it's the last part of the show. But yeah, thank you for sharing everything you can. So I hate when they do that, because usually when you're live, you don't have to, you don't usually pause, but they've got my attention. So while we're waiting, I know that Tabitha, there's something coming through. So I'm going to choose you. And if the other one shows up, then that's fine. But I'm deliberately choosing you because there is, well, whatever, something's pushing. Let's just put it that. I saw that because now we're friends on Facebook, I saw that you had a bruise, a nasty ass bruise, and I didn't really read how it happened or whatever, but you know, when you get older and you fall, it hurts. I broke 2 fingers. But I had wrote down what bruise meant. And do you think I can find it? No. Come on, where'd it go? It was here, bruising. No. Did I really? Did you get any sprains or anything? But anyways, I can help you understand why you fell and what was the importance of your soul saying that you needed to get hurt, if that makes any sense. Now, what I'm looking for, it's like this whole new format. I'm going to become professional at it someday. But bruising, and then I wait for the little thing to open up. And now my window disappeared. Here you are. Let's try it again. I kicked and tripped over a bucket and hit the concrete. Swelling and aching. Oh, swelling. Okay. Oh, good to know. Okay, so we're going to first look at, let's see if I can get the other one open while I'm at it. I'm hoping this doesn't make my video do weird stuff. If it is, I apologize. But bruising. As I scroll down, Messages of the Body by Michael J. Lincoln. And, oh my God, the book's like really thick. And he has several different kinds of in-depth knowledge. This is the closest I found to be really accurate from the energy field that I read. And everybody can be different. I had somebody write to me about a dream, and you have to be careful when they say, oh, you know, it could be a toxic, you know, so the person got bit by a snake, and you know that it's toxic and somebody's out to hurt you, because you got to be careful. That can be about fear, but most generally you have to figure out what the snake means. You have to figure out what a bite means. You have to figure out what you know, all of those mean, and it usually just means that there's a part of you that has some fearful belief systems that you really need to get out of. Now, I'm just going to hit start. I'm just going to do that. This is going slower than I thought, because the computer's like going, I don't want to move. That's fine. I had it printed off. But we're just going to go there. Self-punishment is the very first thing that I heard. There was a certain agenda. I don't know if it was you or somebody else, but you're very open to power of suggestion from people. Well, that's not good. We don't want that. What else? You have a certain distrust, because I'm watching you look through one of your eyes, and it's a certain distrust. Now, what's interesting about that is if you are knowing when I say the word distrust, whether it's a person or the universe, you will actually look at a picture. Now, there is called eye accessing, and it's hard to do if you're not here. And bruises are all about self-abuse, so they were right, okay? And it's those little bumps of self-punishment. And if there was an agenda by somebody else, and you're open to that power of suggestion, there's a part of you, even though you're a strong woman and can stand up and fight if necessary, there is a certain amount of energy that you know, your intention is not to hurt. That's not what your intention is. You don't really want to. And there's a part of you that curbs that inner anger that they seem to keep poking with a stick at. like, and they just don't stop. I'm hoping that makes sense to you, because I just completely made my pages go blank. It means I can't see the paper. Let's get to the right screen. So that self-punishment. Okay, so now that's another thing. She said that I've always been very clumsy. They called me, there's another name besides clumsy. So they used to say that to me too. And I was the type of person that always abused myself to some degree, because, which was, I didn't want to hurt my mother's feelings, so I would shut up. And accident prone. But what I found out about that, I have a program that I did to myself as a little girl that said that I have to stop myself from achieving, or I have to stop myself from wanting. And so if I knew it was going to hurt somebody else, then I would, it's not quite a martyr thing, but it is to cause punishment to yourself, because you don't want to receive punishment. So you will actually stop yourself from acting a certain way. For you, you just wanted a particular outcome to happen in the household. So they're saying that you started to become clumsy. You took that label on when you were about 7, but about 5 years old is really when the habit started to happen, and the energy outside of you, which is the oscillation, would be so fast that you would trip over the frequencies. I know that sounds far-fetched, but so when you were receiving energy from the spirit plane and it goes into your outer aura, there would be a block, and you put that block there so that you didn't hear those vibrations. And when you did that, it caused, they're saying it caused you to trip up. It caused the energy frequency to change. And when it would do that, you would then, so she agrees. Okay, she says always not wanting to hurt people and being a people pleaser. Yes, okay. So, stopping this. So just because she said that she's a people pleaser and she didn't want to hurt anybody, see, and that changes the vibration on the inside of you down. And what you don't want, or the vibration on the outside down, you want the frequency inside of you to be high. Now, most people will just raise their vibration to be high, but what happens is the physical body has to pay for it. And then the outside energy is that the communication of the oscillation and the vibration are out of sync. So then it causes a great deal of issues in the physical plane. At 4, my parents split and I was angry. Yeah, okay. Okay. Well, let's just see. When did that play a big part? Yes. You couldn't change it. You couldn't make it go back. You are doing the same story. If you just think about what you said, now look at what just happened a while back. It's similar. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's similar. It's different characters. That's because you got older. But what happens is that when you get older, the characters change. But if you haven't resolved an issue, then it just gets played out with different people, if that makes any sense. So I was angry at my dad. Now what's interesting is that you also have an inherited emotion, and that inherited emotion is to feel inadequate. I'm just asking Spirit, does that interfere with why she's clumsy? Yes. Does it have to do with the angry at her dad? Yes. So do we want to take care of the anger? No, we want to take care of the inherited emotion first, which is inadequate. All right. Do you want to play for a minute? You don't have to get a magnet. You can. It's beneficial, but I'm going to be also being a surrogate to you, and I've got magnets, and you can just use your hand, okay? I'm just going to have you roll. And what happens is that you have oh no, it's dropping in and out. Okay, so yeah, with this video you can always replay it over and over unless Facebook takes it. But if you want to play real quick, because you got a few minutes, then what you do is that, like I said, you can take your hand and you can replay this later if you want, or you can get a magnet. But we know that it's inherited. That represents that it's 10 times of removing. We have to take it out of the governing meridian. The governing meridian starts in the back, comes up and around, and stops in the back there. So we're going to go backwards on the meridian. So we're going to say inherited, inadequate 10 times. And yep, okay, so inherited, inadequate, 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 inherited, I know I just inherited. I'm scanning your body, really? Inherited, inadequate. Okay. You have an energy field that looks like your gut pig split open. As I started to roll that out, it showed me more that you had to use inadequate is like a Band-Aid to cover up a boo-boo that you would label a boo-boo, a wound. But because it is inherited, it came in on its own. Okay. 21 seconds. Darn it. Okay, so what we're going to do real quick, we'll finish this up, is that I need you to understand that the point on your third eye and the point on your belly button, you push in and lift up, okay? What that means, as you holding this, I'm going to tell you. This point helps hold the governing meridian. The belly button holds the point of the central. When you are holding those 2 points, it connects up the energy and around, so it creates like an egg. When the energy of the front, from here on down, is the central, you'll be very vulnerable. If people are in the space and they're looking at you going, God, she looks awful, and they don't even know you, because it's open, same for your back, if it's open and not zipped up and not doing its job, you will pick it up. Beginning of the show, I talked about psychic energies. It can be just one emotion that's directed to you. But the point is that usually it doesn't stick as much as it comes in and affects everything until it wears out or you stop believing it, but your thoughts can be picked up. Do this and start building up your egg, because when they say stuff like that, it doesn't have to. It can bounce off the egg. And if I had class, I would muscle test you and I would show you that more that you think about it, and you can do what's called zip up as well. This is called a hook up. A zip up is you just, you don't use your hands, or you can use your hands, and you know how a zipper comes together. You're going to grab and down by your hoo-ha and just kind of like zip up, and then you grab in the back and then you zip up and around, and then you lock it with the key, and then you don't let anybody see where you put the key. Using your imagination, zipping it up and locking it is just as good and strong as pushing in and lifting up. So if you don't want to look like an idiot in the store, just imagine zipping it up. And the more that you concentrate, the more you're going to cause your egg to hold in your energy and their crap to bounce off. Because according to this, you're very vulnerable with picking it up. Okay, so now I'm going to ask Lenny or any of you, did any of those people that I said their names earlier, did they show up? And if they did, I will honor it like I said. But if they have not, then I think this has been a great show. So think about all the options that we have out there. If you have ideas that, what do you mean no show? Oh, no show. Good. All right. So I thank you for coming, and thank you for playing with me. Tabitha, keep doing this. I don't want you taking any more people in. No, you don't need to do that anymore. So thank you all for all the wonderful thing you've done. And yes, listen again and again and again. Take the gems, write them down, grow, heal. You'd be amazed at how far you can go in for yourself into the future. All right. So remember, if you want to join me on Mondays and Thursdays at 1 p.m., do so. And if you want to join me on Tuesdays and Fridays at 9 p.m., do so. I would love to see you. If you want me to do any particular healings during the show, you can expedite it by paying for a certain amount. Just go to the website, read all the different 7 options. You can also just set up an appointment. We can do a private reading. So nobody is listening. One-on-one, you get so much more, and you'd be so much more happier when you do it. So say thank you to Lenore for the wonderful help that she's been doing. Again, she's been doing it voluntarily, and we appreciate all of her help and her expertise because it's just going to get better and better as we go along. And if you want me come to your house through the live, or if I live close or whatever, we can work out and do many things. There is a small little fee for different type of mini readings, group readings, healings, and whatever you'd like to do. Okay. I love you. And as always, stay blessed.